Hey everyone, in the last video we saw how life evolved from being sludge on the volcanoes to being fully established ecosystems in the land and sea. In this video we'll take a closer look at the plants and the ecosystem itself and how they function. There's a companion video on animals, both are linked in the description below. Thanks again for all the support in the first video, and please do comment your thoughts below. Firstly, we'll discuss plant genetics and how they actually reproduce. As you can see, the trunks of the plants are various different colours. This colour represents their genetic difference relative to the other plants around it. If another plant has a similar colour, you can say they're close relatives. If they have completely different colours, then they are genetically different species. And surrounding the plants, the small dots represent the seeds and pollen. Their colour works in the same way as the plant's trunks do, and they have several genes attached to them which affect how well they can travel across the sea, in the oceans, and in the sky. The smaller points are pollen. They move around randomly until they reach a suitable plant or they rot away. Should they reach a suitable plant, the plant will absorb it and produce a seed in its place. The seed will also then move around randomly until either it rots away or it reaches suitable territory and sprouts. Variations in the type of seeds lends itself to many different evolutionary pathways. As you can see here, there are loads of seeds from coastal plants who have adapted their seeds to be able to travel and survive in the oceans. These plants will survive along the coastlines, travel along the oceans, and colonize new land. Plants further inland tend to have seeds that are better at traveling across the ground or in the air. The height of each plant is a delicate balancing act. On the one hand, they need to be taller than their neighbours so they don't get overshadowed in the competition for light. Plants on higher terrain have a natural advantage. However, on the other, taller plants are more vulnerable to natural elements, doubly so for plants on higher terrain. Plants can negate this by growing more sturdy and more woody. However, the trade-off is that they grow more slowly. The size and shape of a plant's leaves are dependent on its environment. A larger leaf may produce more food, however, it wastes more water, is more vulnerable to the elements. Plants can evolve thicker leaves to prevent water loss. However, this is more costly for the plant. Therefore, if a plant is in an area with a lot of water, it may not invest in more efficient leaves. Likewise, when the plant respires, the water turns into clouds and then into rain. If the rain falls nearby, again, the plant has no incentive to evolve thicker leaves. As a plant grows, it naturally develops more and more leaves. If the leaves are big, it can find itself competing with itself for light. Therefore, taller plants can often evolve to have smaller and smaller leaves. Viewing the plants in their true colour as opposed to their genetic colour shows more clearly the different evolutionary decisions they have made. This view helps highlight the different microclimates and the different plants that have evolved to take advantage of those specific conditions. And of course, the plants don't evolve in a vacuum. By growing taller, these plants can avoid having their leaves being eaten by animals. They can also evolve thicker leaves or more poisonous leaves. The animals can fight back. For example, in response to plants growing taller, the animals can themselves grow taller or grow longer necks. In response to tougher leaves, they can evolve larger guts to be able to more efficiently digest the leaves. And for more poisonous leaves, the animals can evolve resistance. When the seed first germinates, it must rely on the energy stored within the seed given to it by its parent. This makes seed production more expensive, but allows the emerging plant to be able to deal with adverse effects like animals eating its leaves or being covered in water. Therefore, the plant must balance producing high quality seeds and a larger number of seeds. But once the leaves are grown in, the seedling is self-sufficient. As previously stated, when the plants respire, they produce clouds. As the terrain increases, the clouds are both more likely to rain and rain a larger percentage of the total water they are carrying. This can often mean at the top of the mountains, a very large volume of water could go rushing down. This ultimately feeds the rivers and lakes. These natural disasters are also something the plants have to adapt to. Some evolve to be able to withstand the natural disasters. Others instead evolve for their seeds to survive where they couldn't and reclaim the land afterwards. And on this new world, you can directly see the effect water has on the terrain itself. You can see on the coastline, as the rocks absorb water, they darken. And the clouds in the sky aren't a result of respiration because plants haven't evolved yet. Instead, they're directly evaporating off the ocean themselves. And by tweaking some variables, we can make the clouds drop an enormous amount of water when it rains. Under the weight of all that water, the terrain starts to flatten and smoothen. This is essentially how the rivers carve out river valleys and lakes. Thanks for watching until the end. I know I'm on Patreon. I'd love to get my other projects out on YouTube, so your support would be greatly appreciated. If you're not in a position to support on Patreon, that's absolutely fine. A comment, like, and subscription goes a long way, and I really appreciated the comments on the previous video. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time.